Here are 3 ridiculous things about the first Star Trek movie, Star Trek the Motion Picture. It aims to be 2001, but instead hits the changeling. Star Trek the Motion Picture had ambition. You really have to give it that. Even though Paramount had greenlit the project because they wanted a blockbuster answer to 20th Century Fox's Star Wars, Star Trek wanted to be smarter, more contemplative, more philosophical. It was to be about astronauts using science to explore a big mystery. A lot like 2001, really. And you can see the resemblance. The cold interiors of the ship, the rather chillier versions of the series' characters, the long effect sequences calculated to inspire awe and the grandeur of space, that's all there, but in terms of story, it's really just the TV episode The Changeling, stretched out over 140 minutes, which takes a lot of the mystery out of it. Instead, we have to watch special effects sequences while waiting for Kirk to work out in 90 minutes what he figured out in 15 on the TV show. The whole Decker-Ilia plotline. Because Star Trek the Motion Picture was originally supposed to be the pilot for a new Star Trek series, the characters of Commander Decker and Ilia were given a simple backstory to give context to a relationship that would develop as the series progressed, kind of like Riker and Troy on Star Trek The Next Generation. Unfortunately, no one did much to build either character as the script transitioned into one for a standalone feature. So Decker doesn't really develop beyond young go-getter pissed at Admiral Kirk for taking his job. He took his job! Took his job! Sorry, I couldn't resist. And nobody seemed to think it at all necessary to tell us anything more about Ilia than that she's bald and that humans all want to boink her because she's Deltan, you see. Actually, I don't see, but the movie thinks I should. Stephen Collins and Persis Khambatta weren't exactly the Richard Burton and Liz Taylor of their generation, but the script didn't support him too much. Because of this, Decker and Ilia's union with V'ger at the end of the picture, which the movie seems to think is grand and poetic, becomes a plot device meant to finally purge the movie of characters that even the filmmakers didn't find interesting. The revelation of V'ger's identity. According to the movie, the NASA space probe Voyager 6 went through a black hole, survived, and encountered a machine planet that rebuilt it into a vessel capable of fulfilling its mission to collect all data possible, learn all that's learnable, that sort of stuff. Based on the size, power, and complexity of the final product, the machines put in a lot of overtime on this. Yet when Kirk finds the original V'ger chassis, he spots its dirty nameplate showing V blank blank GER, rubs off some gook, and reveals Voyager. So, the machine planet built this entire complex, thousands of times the size of the original Enterprise, but they never bothered to rub the dirt off? Are you kidding me? If they'd just done that, Kirk would have known that he was talking to Voyager all along. He'd have figured out how to communicate with it, and the entire movie could have been finished in a little less than an hour. Much like The Changeling. So, those are the 3 most ridiculous things about Star Trek the Motion Picture. What wasn't so ridiculous? A Star Trek movie placing the emphasis on exploration and problem solving and giving us an antagonist whose challenge to our heroes is resolved without violence. The film series didn't do this enough. I'll see you next time when we'll take on one of my favorite movies of all time, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Until then.